Anna Jurt is a 23-year-old modern pentathlete.
But I learned during all these years being an athlete now that it's never about what you're achieving, it's about the process.
She grew up with 9 siblings on a small farm. Her mom let her try every sport she liked. She chose modern pentathlon to keep doing many things.
And my mom was so in shock because she just exchanged her best looking cow against like a really ugly pony.
Anna is a European vice champion at the Paris 2024 qualifier.
Maybe things look really terrible in the beginning, but if you're being patient and if you're being resilient, it's turning into something good.
Hey everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Flame Bearers Unedited, a brand new series bringing to you largely unedited conversations. We heard you loud and clear. You want to hear more stories of more elite women athletes from around the world. So let's jump in.
Hello, I'm Anna Jurt. I'm from Switzerland. I'm 23 years old. I do a little bit of special sport. It's called Pentathlon. It's made out of 5 disciplines. It's shooting, running, the OCR, swimming and fencing. And what's special about myself, I got 9 siblings, so we're quite a big family. And yeah, that's me.
Anna, how did you get into pentathlon? Because as you said, it is such a unique and special sport.
I think a lot of it had to do that I myself, I'm not good in deciding. And well, in five sports, you don't have to decide. So that was one of the main things. But then also I'm super lucky with my mom because my mom, she really supported us in doing everything we wanted to. So when I was a little girl, I could do whatever I want to. I was in karate, I was in ballet, I did horseback riding, I did like everything. But I had always that dream of the Olympics to go there. So I had those different sports. I had a huge passion for moving and then I had to decide. So I chose to not to decide and that's where I landed in pentathlon.
Talk to us a little bit about your childhood. I know you mentioned your mom has been a huge part of your life. You have 9 siblings. What was that like for you growing up?
I can say it was never boring, I guess. We had always something to laugh and something to do. We're quite an ambitious family, so something that we always did is also play. As I already mentioned, we had a lot of moving in our family, so we did a lot of sports and stuff like that. But then also, my mom allowed us to have quite a few pets. So we also had like a farm. So yeah, it was really, really cool. And there was like that moment where I really want to ride, but well, obviously we're quite a big family, so the money was never super huge. So my mom at my birthday decided to exchange her best looking cow against the pony, and I could choose a pony. And at that moment, I wrote like a lot of books about like unicorns. So I thought if I take the ugly pony, it's gonna turn into a unicorn one day. And my mom was so in shock because she just exchanged her best looking cow against like a really ugly pony. But yeah, I think that's part of the childhood. And from there it started. I started riding, I started doing other sports. So yeah, that's kind of like my childhood. We already had a big family out of humans, but then it started growing also by chicken, cows, all of it, yeah.
Okay, that is so incredible. Were you really disappointed when your pony didn't turn into a unicorn?
Oh, I was. You don't know how many nights I stayed into the farm because I wanted to protect my unicorn from bad ghosts, but it never turned into a unicorn. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed about that.
So you have 9 siblings. You said you were always busy. You were always being active. Talk to us about who your siblings are. So what were the sports that you did with them growing up? And then how did that lead to where you are today?
Well, that's pretty amazing. I'm like the second oldest. So my mom used to be a runner. So we always run together. Also my other brother, he did running with us. But then I was the crazy one who started actually that sport. So from then on, 5 of my younger siblings now started to do pentathlon as well, which wow. I love. It's really really cool to do such a sport with them, especially in Switzerland where the sport is like quite small. So I have like my own team. So it's pretty amazing. And like all my other siblings are doing sports as well. But 5 of us are doing this professionally now. But and maybe in the future even more. But the youngest is now, he came to the world in December, so he's quite young. But hopefully in the future we will still have a lot more pentathletes coming.
That is so cool that you get to actually compete and train with your siblings. And I saw that you were recently European vice champion, excuse me. What did that mean to you?
I meant actually the world to me, because I really had a tough year last year. I mean, like in the end, it turned out super, super well. I became second at the European Championship. I became 12th at the World Championship, and I could take part in Paris. But actually, in the beginning of the year, it was not looking that way at all. I was training really hard. I was doing good in training, actually. But always when I came to competition, it was super tough for me. I couldn't show my performance. So that second place just came after my 12th place in China, where I actually qualified for the Olympics. So that for me, it meant like really the world. It was like, hey, you're here. You can be proud of yourself that you qualify, but you're also like, you're allowed to compete with such good athletes. So for me, it meant a lot for my confidence.
Anna, if you're cool sharing about, you said that this past year was really challenging for you. How did you pick yourself back up? How did you keep going when things weren't going your way?
It sounds really basic, but like the passion about these sports in general. And I think also, I'm not yet very old, but I learned during all these years being an athlete now that it's never about what you're achieving, it's about the process. And I learned to love the process. Even though it wasn't going well, of course, I was super disappointed about bad results. But then I went to the training and I was like, oh, that's what I like to do. That's what I love to do. There's my people. So that's just what kept me going. And then for me, it's always, in pentathlon, you always start with swimming, not most of the cases, but you can start with swimming. And in the end, is always my strength, like the laser run. And that really taught me that maybe things look really terrible in the beginning, but if you're being patient and if you're being resilient, it's turning into something good. If you put in the work, there's something coming out of it.
That's really, really good to hear, because I think we have so many community members who are struggling themselves, who are having down days, who are having injuries, who are putting in that work, but potentially not seeing those results. So that's really helpful to hear. You mentioned the laser run, and I have absolutely loved learning about your sport. It's so cool. What do you want people to know about your sport? It's not a super widely known area, so dispel any myths that people get wrong.
There were a lot of things changing in our sports currently. So now there is that new format where you do everything in 90 minutes. So it's really quick. And so a lot of it is not just like, of course, you have to be good in every single sport, but you also have to be like really strong mentally, because there is one thing going wrong. And if you're then being like, oh, fuck, I fucked up, I'm done, then you are done. But if you're being like, come, get your shit together, now stand up, next thing is going, next thing is coming. And then in the end, you never hope it for another athlete, but in the end, if somebody shoots very badly and you're shooting very good, you can always pass them and you can be better. So it's like really fight until the end and see what's the result. That's something I would like to share, because for spectators, super cool to watch, but also as an athlete, it's such a great thing to do. You're not like in sprinting, I'm running, 12 seconds in 100 meters. I'm never gonna win a medal. But here, you never know. Like if you're giving your best shot, you have a good shot to actually win it. Also, if you're not maybe the best athlete on the paper.
How do you feel about all the changes? Because I know there's been so many different shifts recently.
Well, good question, because there are two things. I already spoke about being a rider myself, so I really love riding. I still go ride for myself, for my soul. I think there are good changes, and I understand those changes. Still, it's quite tough for us because, for example, myself, I wanted to go to Paris, so I had to ride until last year, and I couldn't learn about these new sports. Just this season, I started doing it. So now all the younger juniors who are already already did it for like 2 years, they're passing you. And that's something like mentally is so tough. And especially like, I mean, like if I want somebody in front of me, it's my siblings, but still in sports, you want to do better. So now it's like, as this sport is new and you're not yet perfect in it, it's mentally quite tough to still believe in yourself. But as I said, like I learned to accept those challenges, to love those challenges. And I'm certain I'm going to be good in that sport. I will work really hard, so we'll be good.
I know there were some changes coming out of Tokyo and then in Paris. So for those who haven't been following, what are those specific changes?
So there is no more riding in it. And the new discipline is called OCR. It's quite similar to Ninja Warrior, but a little bit different. It's on the distance from like 80 to 100 meters, and there are like 8 obstacles that you have to pass. It's 8, but 12 is possible. Before the competition, you know which obstacles it's gonna be. There are some that are fixed, but some that can change. So that's the new discipline. So that's one big change. And then from Tokyo as well is the new format, which means that there is just 90 minutes for doing the whole sport. And I can like understand why they're doing it, and a lot of sports have to adapt to the Olympic standards, because when we're not in the Olympics, we're actually out of the sport world. So that's why we had to adapt.
How do you feel about pentathlon in regards to other Olympic sports?
For us, it's in 4 years we have that huge stage to present ourselves. So that is really something special. So I think the Olympics are super, super important for a small sport like ours. The growing interest after the Olympics, that was something that I was really pleased about, because that's actually something I was wishing for that sport. Because in my opinion, it's a really, really cool sport. Not only because you do 5 different disciplines, but also because for me, it's like a lesson from the life. Like you learn so many things, like about so many different cultures and people, and to react in different ways to different situations. So that's really something I'd like to give to other people. That's like our show to other people. So that was really something I was happy about.
You mentioned being exposed to different people, to different cultures, that you've learned a lot of different things. What are some of the specific things that you've learned throughout your journey with the sport?
I mean, like one of the big things, or my main change I had was being able or having the possibility to train with a big friend of mine, Heidi Morsi. She's been 2 times Olympian, and she's like one of my best friends, quite literally. We've been together since during that qualification period for Paris, and she was like one of my biggest supporter, really, because she already qualified 2 times for the Olympics, and she taught me so much about patience, about believing in myself. But not only that, also like just normal athlete stuff, what to do. I mean, you spoke about what to do when you have bad results, if you have no motivation, and she was always there for me. I tried to my best to be there for her as well, but I learned a lot of that experience, and like also about like her openness. I mean, I was able to train with her for 3 weeks, and there was not one single moment where she was like, oh no, I don't want to do that training with you, that's private or anything. She was like, no, come to me, learn from me. So she's like really a good heart, and I was like so positively shocked about that. So that's something I really want to be myself also for other athletes. I try to be that. I can't say I can do it as she does, but I'm trying my best. But she's like really a good heart, yes.
That's so cool, because for those who don't know, Heidi's from Egypt and you're from Switzerland. So I love the intercontinental friendship. Anna, who were your role models growing up? One of the things you just said is you want to be that person for someone else moving forward. You don't know if you can be exactly like Heidi, but you want to do your best. Who were the people that you looked up to, and perhaps even the women that you looked up to?
The women I now think of is my mom and my grandmother. Those women are so strong for me. They're so resilient. Because imagine having 10 kids, working 80%, having a farm. She's just amazing, and I mean, like she's my everything. She's my Google Maps. She was my driver. She was my cooker. So she was like everything. And also my grandmother. She was supportive in every way, and still now I really appreciate appreciate her opinion about so many different stuff. So those women are really important to me. And I mean, like, as I already mentioned, or you maybe could hear it a little bit now, Heidi is somebody for me as well, just to learn from that openness, from that kindness. That's something I would like for myself to have that.
Well, you are definitely doing it, Anna, and you are being that shining star for others. What would you want to say to your younger self? If young Anna was sitting next to you, what would you want to tell her?
Be patient, because I mean, like, you can't force it. Never. You never know your output, but there's certainly something coming out if you put in work, if you're authentically putting the work in. Maybe it's not the result you're hoping for, but there is something coming out, and learn from that and being patient in that way. That's something I would like to say to small Anna.
Oh, something I need to 100%. The last question that we like to end on, what one action do you want our community to take after hearing your story?
I would love to tell them maybe to try different things, to be resilient, to be patient. And even though like you don't see it right now, you will see it in the future. Be the best version of yourself. Try your best.
Wow. So much easier said than done.
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely. But take it from somebody who's fell down like so many times. So really, if I say that, it's not that I'm just saying that out loud. I know that it's hard.
Right. It's so hard. Thanks for tuning into Flame Bearers Unedited. 2 items. Number 1, if you like what you're hearing and want to be a part of this community, reach out to us at flamebearers.com. We have a contact form. We're actively looking for sponsors and partners to help us increase the reach and the incredible work that we're doing. Number 2, we want to hear from you. What's working? What's not working? Where can we do better? We've launched a Flame Bearers listening survey. It's in the show notes, and we want to hear from you for a chance to win behind the scenes access, as well as some really cool Flame Bearer swag. Thanks, and we'll catch you on our next episode.